Welcome to the TimeShare Legal Action.
Hi, this is TimeShare Legal Action, and I am Mitchell Reed Sussman, the founder emeritus of the law firm of Sussman and Associates. The law firm has 5 offices in 2 states. We've been practicing timeshare and real estate law for some 50 years. And in the past 20, we have exited well over 50,000 timeshare owners. And I'm here with my dear friend, Panda Kroll.
I don't represent timeshare owners. I represent attorneys and companies, which you will hear a lot about, called exit companies, who represent owners. And I represent them in their pursuit for justice.
And one of the things that I think we should discuss first, because this is something that consumers will find on the internet, is that there are essentially either timeshare exit companies, which are companies, and timeshare exit attorneys. Now, there's a great difference between an exit company and an exit attorney. Obviously, an attorney has the ability to file litigation, which our law firm did for years and years against all of the major timeshare entities. And an exit company, unless it is an attorney-backed company, doesn't have that ability. Panda, what's your experience in terms of exit companies? Because I know you've represented a lot of them.
Called timeshare relief. Timeshare relief was what nowadays everybody says timeshare exit, and exit is a word you see in a lot of the names of exit companies. Back then, everything was relief. So go figure. But timeshare relief was the brand leader, and they did a lot of advertising
And
with a lot of
the
help from your brother.
basic
And they
thing
also
regarding an
did a lot
exit
of
company
helped
that does
clients
not use an attorney
take
is that in
willing
many instances, those companies
assignors.
are
People who
going
wanted to get rid of
to
their timeshare, assign it to anybody who would
lack
take it,
the
and they
ability
would
not
find
only to
like a
back up
matchmaking service almost.
their
And those were
demands to
all
negotiate a
paid in
settlement,
full, typically deeded properties.
but they can be the target of litigation by the developers. There's actually a recent piece of litigation, Panda, I don't know if you've seen it, by Capital against the Stonegate Group. Are you aware of that?
Sued one of the big developers to say,
Okay.
if people want to get out of their
That could be a
timeshare
piece
and
of
they
litigation you're
found a
involved with,
willing buyer,
maybe.
assignor, purchaser, what have you,
Okay.
then you must
And
let that
so I know that you've represented exit companies in the past, the biggest of which is the timeshare exit team. What did you find was the failing of some of these companies that have been attacked by developers? And that was a great settlement that you helped negotiate personally, as I recall, right? And I think that that particular exit company was represented by a number of attorneys over the course of time. So this was an exit company that was, shall I say, an attorney-backed exit company. Is that right? absolutely hundreds of thousands. And um, this brings up the point of negotiations. This is one of the reasons why, and again, as an attorney who's not only handles directly through our website, Sussman and Associates and TimeShareLegalAction.com, handles these consumers directly, but we, of course, represent a number of exit companies and was counsel for timeshare exit team for years and years and years as well. And the fact that there is an attorney affiliated with the exit company gives the exit company, in my opinion, the extra power or leverage to negotiate what Panda talks about, which is a deed in lieu. Um, do you agree with that, or what's your position on that, Panda?
Other entities. So timeshare exit team was able to, with an attorney model, they were able to help, I guess, like 50,000 people get out of their timeshare. And for their trouble, basically, I always tell my clients it's a badge of honor to be sued.
Oh, absolutely. I think you're very familiar with the case out of Florida, which we won't get into the specifics of the individuals involved, but these attorneys had no experience in the field. Um, why don't you tell us a little bit more without mentioning names? Because I know you're on top of that.
Was, well, I guess the developer's position is these are our victims. You can't take money from them, only we can. So basically, when the my client came to me, I'm not sure if you want this much history, but it's what's we have an hour to fill, I guess. So when my client came to me, they had been sued by 3 developers, and they had been told Panda Kroll is the timeshare whisperer or whatever. She's the one who has, you know, taken the developer on by the horns in the past, and they wanted to countersue, and they had insurance. And so the insurance companies, they had good insurance, really good insurance, right? And the insurance was, oh gosh, like $5 million, and there was umbrella policies, right? And they said, we have insurance lawyers. So we're not sure why we're calling you. We keep hearing your name over and over. So we're asking, what can you do for us that we're not already getting? And I said, well, you just told me.
Fully and completely agree. And, I am certainly very familiar with this particular case in Florida. The attorney was sanctioned. The poor owners didn't get the relief they were seeking in terms of exits. So you need to be very careful in terms of who it is that you're hiring and what their track record is. If they have, if you can get a recommendation from someone who had a timeshare, went to
We're not
either an
saying names.
attorney or one of the experienced exit companies and had a successful result, that's even better than looking at the BBB or something of that nature. And I'm not knocking the BBB. We have an A+ rating with them. And like I said, we've done over 50,000 releases. But you have to be very, very careful because, again, there are bad lawyers and there are exit companies, which I don't know if you want to talk about that, but there are exit companies that simply take your money and do nothing. They will literally take your money and, well, why don't you add to that if you can,
They
Panda?
have a fiduciary duty. They have a professional obligation to represent the client. But if that ever comes into conflict, which it could, then in California, you're required to hire an independent, the insurance company has to pay for an independent attorney who can make sure that these conflicts are smoothed over so that the insurance lawyer does not have a dual relationship that's adverse to the client. Okay, but I'm not done.
Yes. You know, Panda, you've been talking about negotiation of settlements, and I have to concur with you 100%. It is actually the thing that I tell the exit companies that I work with, and I tell the staff over at Sussman and Associates. Number one, we want to negotiate with the developer to get the client out of their timeshare. Um, why don't you tell our audience the advantages of a negotiation, Panda, versus a simple, as you say, deed in lieu of foreclosure?
Than I do. But my thoughts on that is the secondary market in timeshare
All
is
right.
not like the secondary market for housing, for real estate, is not like the secondary market for cars. And that it is what economists call, and I'll turn it back over to you, but economists call the secondary market for timeshare a disorderly time market. So go ahead.
All right. So let me expand on the benefits of a negotiation versus a deed in lieu. Um, if you do a deed in lieu, the fact that you have settled it um, is great, uh, but there is that negative credit reporting that could appear if you do a deed in lieu. Even though it's a settlement, even though it's a resolution,
Thanks,
um,
Mitch.
and it'll
Yes,
appear
I
that way that
introduce
the account is
you to everyone as
closed,
the
you'll
godfather
still
of
have
timeshare.
negative
Who
things
was the
on
first
your
person to
credit.
do that?
And so the
Was it me?
goal of any
When you
negotiation,
spoke
which is
at
the goal of all the exit
Mhm.
companies that I work with,
Right.
as well as the
So
goal of my staff
yes.
personally,
So my
is that we want to
background is a
negotiate
little different than Mitch's, but we are
a
complementary.
resolution that not only relieves the consumer of any future obligations, but in addition to that, we request that the developer report to the credit reporting agencies that this is a paid as agreed resolution. And a paid as agreed resolution means that going forward, there isn't the damage that you may get with a deed in lieu or a foreclosure. And so it's very, very important that you go to someone who's got the credibility, who's got the track record, who works with the developers all the time so that they can secure a resolution that will not impact your credit. You agree with that, Panda?
I worked with a company that actually worked with your dear brother. And
All righty. Then I'm Mitchell Sussman. This is my dear friend, Panda Kroll. That's it for this episode of Timeshare Legal Action. Um, if you're interested in our services, then by all means, feel free to go to timesharelegalaction.com and Google my friend Panda Kroll, and you will see that she is been in this business for a very, very long time, one of the single most reputable and go-to sources. Again, co-chair of the national, what was the trial Lawyers of Association of America, is now the American Association of Justice, and she is co-chair of that section. And as far as myself, I invite you all to go to Gemini and put in the search of what attorney, very simple, what attorney is the godfather of timeshare exit, and Gemini will spit out more information about me than even I know about myself. Thanks for watching.
Their trouble for trying to help owners.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and leave us a review in the comments.